Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Inspired by the tremendous response I got from my two previous videos in which I looked at the great schoolboy football magicians of the West, which focus on the exemplary midfielders, and Brian Brown, the best schoolboy striker, which looked at the impactful strikers that the region has produced. In this video, I will be looking at the outstanding schoolboy football defenders to select one who I think stands above all others in terms of achievements and overall impact. However, because the West has produced so many outstanding defenders over the years, including some players who did not make it at the schoolboy level or whom I did not see during their playing days, that list of stalwart defenders include many players who have made it from the club level to the national team. That list would have to feature former national captain and Wadada standout Mark Ledford, Seba United stalwart defender Stephen Zarbol Thompson, Violet Kickers' Noel Bram King, Wadada's Dave Brooks, who was a gifted player for St. Elizabeth Technical High School, Reno's Clive Birdie Richards and Robert Goff Andrews, Montego Bay Boys Club Michael Mangobade Parkinson, Seaview's Ross Livingston, and of course Doran Tatty Brown, who was a part of the 1998 Reggae Boys team which qualified for and played in the 1998 World Cup in France. Now back to the outstanding schoolboy defenders who caught my eye during their playing days. As I did in the previous two videos, I will start with my old high school, William Knibb High School. Topping the list for me is Gerald Hero Scott, who is arguably the best defender Jamaica has produced that has not played for the national team. However, his impact representing Seba United in the National Premier League will make him a Western Jamaica legend forever. The other outstanding William Knibb defender is none other than the extremely gifted Garnet Codfish Denton, who became a club standout at Violet Kickers after his playing days at school. Based on what I have heard and what I have seen, Cornwall College has produced some very gifted defenders over the years. Names such as Kouskin Harris, Conrad Gardy Osang, and Lance Bugs Gibbs. However, of the Cornwall College defenders I have seen over an extended period, I would have to give very high marks to Laurel Crazy Glue Burchell, who easily got 100 out of 100 for his outstanding marking job and former Rusea striker Kenneth Black's gainer in the 1983 Da Costa Cup final. And of course, I could not leave out the exceptionally gifted Haglar Wilson, who was on the verge of making it big in Jamaica's football when he died in a car crash. While not as prolific as Cornwall College when it came to producing outstanding defenders, Herbert Morrison also had their fair share of very gifted defenders. And that list would include the likes of Barrington Rufus McLennan, Howard Jesse Forbes, and probably the best of the lot, David Skitterose. Honorary mention would also have to be made of O'Neill Scava Eccleston, who was a standout defender behind a weak Herbert Morrison team in his playing days, but went on to enjoy great success playing club football at Wadada. While St. James High School has not produced many great defenders, one could not leave out the captain of the 2008 winning the Costa Cup team, Fabian Ding McCarthy, who was such a brilliant player that right out of school he got called up for the national team. Rusea's, the most successful Da Costa Cup team of the 1980s, was like a factory when it came to producing high quality defenders. In fact, names like Linton Kong Stewart, Troy Bulla Malcolm, Leroy Buggy Foster, Anthony the Terminator Dennis, Glaswin Brevet, Bentley Cockatee Brown, Stephen Shorty Malcolm, Mark Chewing Gum Williams, and St. Ryan Steele are all names that will remain prominent in the annals of schoolboy football in Western Jamaica. However, for me, the best Rusea's defender, or the most impactful Rusea's defender of all time, has to be Mark Haglar Wilson, who I would also give the title as the best DeCosta Cup defender of my time. Haglar, who enjoyed the Costa Cup success at Rusea's before going on to enjoy National Premier League success at Reno, was that one player who drove fear into the hearts of his opponents. To say his tackles were crunching would be an understatement, as skin and blood would often be left behind after one of his fearless tackles. He also mastered the art of making aerial tackles, using his head to make spectacular diving clearances. And if you ask former national striker Michael Tullow, he'll probably tell you that in his time he got quite a few bites in the back of his head from Haglar. It was no surprise to anyone when the then national coach Carl Brown called up Haglar right out of school to be a part of the senior national program. Players right across the Caribbean quickly came to the realization that Haglar was not a defender to play with, as many of them were left badly battered and bruised after an encounter with him. While it is true that Haglar got his fair share of red cards during his playing days, I seriously doubt that there are any forwards anywhere in Jamaica who could boast of getting the better of Haglar more than one or two occasions. While I know that other persons will have their own favourite defenders, for me, the best schoolboy defender or the most impactful schoolboy defender of my time is Mark Haglar Wilson, hands down. For my subscribers in Eastern Jamaica, I must admit that I've seen quite a few good defenders in my time watching Manning Cup. Players like Kingston College's Dougie Bell and Charlie Smith's Gerald Neal. And based on what I have seen of Anthony Badas Corbett as a senior player, I wish I had seen him as a schoolboy player. However, as I have stated before, my schoolboy defender of all time is none other than Mark Haglar Wilson, who has provided me with some of my most unforgettable schoolboy football memories. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Before you go, please remember to subscribe.